Experiment 10 is designed to teach students how to identify an unknown using several different methods, mainly infrared spectroscopy. Infrared is the spectrum between microwaves and visible light on the electromagnetic spectrum. This range is between 4,000 and 400 inverse centimeters. An IR spectrum is a graph of the percentage of IR radiation that passes through a sample versus the frequency. This is measured as the percent transmittance, or percent T. Wave number or wavelengths per centimeter are the units of frequency. Procedure is as follows. A KBR pellet was prepared with the unknown sample that was provided by the instructor. 2 milligrams of the unknown and 100 milligrams of KBR were placed into an agate mortar, which were then ground with the agate pestle. All samples and instruments were kept dry, otherwise the IR readings would be affected in a negative manner. When placing the sample into the press, make it a thin layer such as the thickness of wax paper. After a KBR pellet is made, place it into the IR spectrometer and record the reading. At the end of the experiment, remove the KBR pellet and dispose of it as instructed by your instructor. Wash the metal apparatus with water and allow it to dry. Here we have our unknown data. The unknown for this experiment was AK. The melting point was determined to be 169.0 to 173.0 degrees Celsius. The IR spectroscopy showed strong peaks between 3,500 to 3,200 inverse centimeters and a strong peak at 1,590 inverse centimeters. The IR spectroscopy table looks as such. Here we have the believed identification of the unknown compound, which is tris-hydroxymethyl amino acid. It has a molecular formula of C4H11NO3. The melting point is 175 degrees Celsius. The molecular mass is 121.0482 grams. We can see drawn in orange the two functional groups, which are alcohols and an amine. These two functional groups coincide with the peaks that are present on the IR spectroscopy, reinforcing our thought that this is the unknown compound. Also, the melting point is only 2 degrees Celsius off from our unknown's melting point, which is further evidence that this is our compound. It is possible that there could have been errors in this experiment. An example of one is that moisture could have been introduced to the sample when preparing the KBR pellet. This would skew the infrared spectroscopy results, thus skewing the data for the entire experiment. Also, the ratio of the unknown sample to the KBR sample when forming the KBR pellet could have been too high or too low, which again would skew the results of the IR spectroscopy. Another example is a solubility test could have been done on this unknown. This would further support or refute the identification of the unknown sample. References used for this experiment include the Smith textbook, pages 477 to 486. Also used were Lee Moses, Identifying an Unknown Compound by Infrared Spectroscopy, pages 153 to 164.